A book is not just paper and ink. It is a relationship. A conversation between what is written and what is waiting to be understood. Every book you have ever been drawn to reveals something about the questions you are asking, the hungers you are feeding, the version of yourself you are trying to become, or the one you are trying to remember. But here is what most people miss. You do not choose books because of what they contain. You choose them because of what they reflect. The book you reach for is always a mirror, and what you see in its pages is what you are ready to see in yourself. The book you choose today will reveal not what you want to learn, but what you already know and have been avoiding. Not what you need to discover, but what you are finally ready to remember. Before you are 4 books, each one a different doorway into knowledge, each one a different relationship with truth, each one a different way of holding what matters. The ancient leather-bound book, the minimalist modern book, the handwritten journal, the book with blank pages. Do not think about what you should read. Do not think about what would be most useful or most impressive. Simply feel which book calls to you, which one feels like it has been waiting for you to find it. Alan Watts understood that we are not separate from what we learn. We are continuous with it. And the book you are drawn to reveals not just what you want to know, but how you want to know it. How you want to hold truth when you finally find it. Breathe, quiet your mind, and let the book that recognizes you call you forward. Your choice is made. The book is in your hands. Now, let us discover what it has been trying to tell you about the way you seek truth. If you chose the ancient leather-bound book, you understand that some wisdom cannot be found in the present moment. You are drawn to what has survived, to knowledge that has been tested across centuries, to truths so fundamental that they have outlived empires, outlived languages, outlived the very civilizations that first spoke them. You do not trust the new simply because it is new. You trust what has proven itself through time. You are the keeper of lineage, the one who understands that we are not the first people to ask these questions. That every struggle you face, every doubt you carry, every longing that keeps you awake at night has been felt by countless souls who came before you. And they left maps, they left wisdom, they left these ancient books as gifts to those who would come after. You value depth over novelty. You would rather spend a year with one ancient text than a month with 100 modern ones, because you know that real understanding does not come from consuming information. It comes from digesting it, from letting it ferment inside you until it transforms from knowledge into wisdom. The leather-bound book represents your reverence for what is timeless, your respect for tradition, your understanding that some truths are not discovered, they are remembered, that the deepest wisdom is not learned from outside, but recognized from within. People come to you when they are lost, when the modern world has failed them, when quick fixes and surface solutions have left them emptier than before. You offer them the old ways, the slow ways, the paths that have been walked by millions and still lead somewhere true. But there is also a danger in living too much in the past. Because the ancient book can become a hiding place, you retreat into old wisdom not to find yourself, but to avoid the messy work of living in the present. You quote the ancients instead of speaking your own truth. You hide behind tradition instead of taking responsibility for your own becoming. You fear the present because the present is uncertain. The past is known, settled, safe. So you keep your eyes on the pages of the old book, never looking up to see that life is happening right in front of you. That wisdom is not just written in ancient texts, it's being written right now, in this moment, through your own experience. You have mistaken preservation for practice, study for embodiment, the map for the territory. You know what the ancients said, but you have forgotten to live what they lived. You carry the book, but you do not walk the path. Alan Watts would remind you that the Buddha himself said not to believe anything just because it is written in scripture. That the old texts were meant to point you toward your own direct experience, not replace it. That the purpose of reading ancient wisdom is not to become an expert on the past, but to become fully alive in the present. The leather-bound book is sacred because it contains truth, but truth is not meant to be preserved on a shelf. It is meant to be lived, tested, updated through your own experience. The ancients wrote their books so you could write yours. Not in their words, but in your own. Not in their time, but in yours. If you chose the ancient leather-bound book, you are the soul who honors what came before. You do not need to abandon the old ways to live fully now. But you do need to remember that the purpose of studying the past is not to live in it, it is to stand on it, to let it lift you high enough to see your own path clearly, and then to walk that path, even when it leads somewhere no ancient book has mapped. If you chose the minimalist modern book, you are not interested in decoration. You are interested in clarity. You are drawn to what is clean, direct, free of unnecessary ornamentation. You do not need the wisdom wrapped in metaphor or hidden behind layers of archaic language. You want the truth delivered simply, precisely, without waste. The modern book represents your understanding that complexity is often just confusion, pretending to be depth, that the most profound insights are usually the simplest ones. That clarity is not a dumbing down, it is a refinement. It is what remains when everything that is not essential has been removed. You value efficiency. Not in the capitalist sense of doing more faster, but in the aesthetic sense of doing what matters most with the least effort. You appreciate the elegant solution, the direct path, the insight that cuts through years of confusion with a single clear sentence. You are suspicious of anything that tries too hard to seem important, of books that use big words when small ones would do, of wisdom that hides behind mysticism when plain speech would serve better. You believe that if something is true, it should be able to be said clearly, and if it cannot be said clearly, it might not be as true as it claims to be. People appreciate your ability to simplify without being simplistic, to take complex ideas and make them accessible without making them shallow. You are the translator, the one who can take the profound and make it practical, the ancient and make it relevant, the abstract and make it concrete. The minimalist book also represents your relationship with time. You do not have infinite hours to spend decoding ornate language or navigating convoluted philosophies. You want books that respect your time, that get to the point, that deliver what they promise without making you work unnecessarily hard for it. But there is also a danger in demanding too much simplicity, because some truths cannot be reduced. Some experiences cannot be captured in clean prose. Some wisdom requires metaphor, requires poetry, requires the very complexity you are trying to eliminate. You have become so focused on clarity that you have lost the ability to sit with mystery, so focused on efficiency that you have lost patience for the slow unfolding of understanding, so focused on the direct path that you have forgotten that some destinations can only be reached by wandering. You fear anything that cannot be immediately grasped, anything that asks you to sit in confusion for longer than feels comfortable. So you choose books that give you answers quickly, that resolve tension efficiently, that never ask you to struggle. And in doing so, you have traded depth for convenience, transformation for information, the kind of understanding that changes you for the kind that just makes you feel smart. Alan Watts would tell you that the most important truths are often the ones that cannot be said simply. That silence sometimes speaks more clearly than words. That the clean modern book is beautiful, but it is not the only way truth presents itself. You can value clarity without demanding that everything be immediately clear. You can appreciate simplicity without insisting that everything be simple. You can read the modern book and also allow yourself to be confused, to struggle, to sit with questions that have no clean answers. If you chose the minimalist modern book, you are the soul who understands that clarity is power. You do not need to apologize for wanting truth delivered directly, but you also do not need to avoid everything that asks you to work a little harder. Some wisdom is meant to be chased. Some understanding is meant to be earned. And the books that refuse to make it easy for you are often the ones that change you most. If you chose the handwritten journal, you understand that the most important book is the one no one else has written yet. You are not looking for someone else's answers. You are looking for your own. You are not interested in what the experts say or what the ancient masters taught. You are interested in what you think, what you feel, what you are discovering through the raw, unedited process of being alive. The handwritten journal represents your understanding that wisdom is not just received, is created. That truth is not just learned, is lived. that the most valuable insights are not the ones you find in other people's books, but the ones you uncover through your own experience. You are the documenter of your own becoming, the witness of your own transformation. You know that life is not just something that happens to you while you are reading about how to live. Life is what you record when you finally put down everyone else's books and pick up your own pen. You value authenticity, raw honesty, the kind of truth that is messy and imperfect and still unfolding. You do not need your insights to be polished before they are valid. You do not need your thoughts to be profound before they are worth recording. You know that the value is in the process itself, in the act of paying attention, in the daily practice of asking, what did I learn today? What did I feel? What am I becoming? The handwritten journal also represents your understanding that you are writing your own story, that no one else can tell you who you are or what your life means, that the most sacred text is the one you are writing right now, with your choices, your attention, your willingness to show up and be honest about what you find. People are often surprised by your depth when they finally hear you speak. Because you have been quiet, you have been listening, you have been writing, and when you finally share what you have discovered, it comes from a place of genuine knowing, not borrowed wisdom, not rehearsed philosophy, your own lived truth. But there is also a danger in only trusting your own experience, because the journal can become an echo chamber. You write what you think, which reinforces what you believe, which determines what you notice, which shapes what you write. And slowly, without outside input, you stop growing. You stop being challenged. You just keep circling the same insights, deeper and deeper into your own limited perspective. You fear outside influence. You fear that if you read too many other people's ideas, you will lose your own voice. So you close yourself off. You only write, you only record. You never allow yourself to be taught, to be challenged, to be shown something you could never have seen on your own. And in doing so, you have mistaken isolation for authenticity. You have confused originality with refusing to learn from others. You have convinced yourself that the only valid truth is the one you discover alone. But Alan Watts would remind you that we are not isolated islands of consciousness. We are part of a larger conversation. And the most powerful insights often come not from writing alone, but from the dialogue between what we have lived and what others have learned. Between our experience and their wisdom, between the journal we write and the books we read. You can honor your own voice without refusing to hear other voices. You can trust your own experience without dismissing the experience of everyone who came before you. You can write your own story while also learning from the stories that have already been written. If you chose the handwritten journal, you are the soul who knows that no one can write your truth but you. You do not need to wait for permission to speak, but you also do not need to speak in a vacuum. The most powerful journals are the ones written in conversation with other books. The most authentic voices are the ones that have listened before they spoke. If you chose the book with blank pages, you understand something most people never learn, that the most important knowledge is the knowledge that has not yet been spoken. You are not drawn to what is already known. You are drawn to what is possible, to what could be written, to what is waiting to be discovered. You look at the blank page, not with fear, but with reverence, because you know that emptiness is not absence, it is potential. The blank book represents your understanding that you are not here to repeat what has already been said. You are here to create something new, to think thoughts that have never been thought, to speak truths that have never been spoken, to live in a way that adds something original to the world. You are the pioneer, the innovator, the one who is not satisfied with following established paths. You need to forge your own. You need to discover your own answers. You need to create your own philosophy from the raw material of your own experience. This is not arrogance, it is necessity. You have tried reading other people's books, and they felt like borrowed clothes. They fit, but they were not yours. You have tried following other people's paths, and they led somewhere real, but not somewhere true for you. So you chose the blank book, the one that gives you permission to start from nothing, to build from scratch. To write the story no one else could write. People are both inspired and intimidated by you, because you are willing to stand in the emptiness, to create without a template, to move forward without knowing if you are doing it right. You do not wait for permission. You do not wait for validation. You just begin. The blank book also represents your relationship with certainty. You do not need to know how the story ends before you start writing. You do not need to have all the answers before you ask the questions. You trust the process. You trust that if you show up to the blank page honestly, something true will emerge. But there is also a danger in the blank page, because blank can become an excuse. You tell yourself you are waiting for the right insight, the perfect beginning, the moment of clarity, but really, you are just afraid to make the first mark. Afraid that what you write will not be good enough, will not be original enough, will not be worthy of the pristine emptiness you have been protecting. You fear commitment. You fear that once you write something down, you will be stuck with it. So you keep the pages blank. You keep the potential pure. You keep the book perfect by never risking imperfection. And in doing so, you have mistaken potential for presence, possibility for participation, the blank page for the finished work. You have convinced yourself that the most important thing is to preserve the emptiness, when really the most important thing is to fill it. Alan Watts would tell you that the blank page is not sacred because it is empty. It is sacred because it is waiting to be filled. That potential is only valuable if it actualizes. That possibility is only meaningful if it becomes reality. The blank book is not asking you to keep it blank. It is begging you to write. You can honor the emptiness without being paralyzed by it. You can respect the blank page while also being brave enough to mark it. You can create something new, while also accepting that what you create will be imperfect, incomplete, and exactly what the world needs anyway. If you chose the book with blank pages, you are the soul who understands that the future is unwritten. You do not need to know the ending to begin, but you do need to begin. The blank page is not the destination, it is the invitation. And the only way to honor it is to accept. For books, for relationships with knowledge, for ways of approaching what is known, what is knowable, and what is yet to be discovered. Carl Jung understood that books are not just information delivery systems. They are symbols, containers for our relationship with truth itself, with learning, with the question of how we come to know what we know. But Alan Watts would take this further. He would say that the book you chose reveals not just what you want to learn, but how you believe truth works. Whether you think it is found in the past or created in the present. Whether it is received from others or discovered within. Whether it is already written or waiting to be written. The ancient leather-bound book revealed your belief that truth is timeless, that the most important wisdom has already been spoken, that your task is not to create new truth, but to remember old truth. The minimalist modern book revealed your belief that truth should be accessible, that wisdom should not be hidden behind complexity, that if something is true, it should be able to be said clearly. The handwritten journal revealed your belief that truth is personal, that the most important knowing comes from your own experience, that wisdom is not inherited, but earned through living. The book with blank pages revealed your belief that truth is unfinished, that the most important knowledge is the knowledge that does not exist yet, that your task is not to find truth, but to create it. And all of these are valid. All of these are true. Because truth is not one thing. It is the ancient and the modern, the timeless and the personal, the discovered and the created, the written and the blank. You are not the book. You are the one who can read them all. The consciousness that can honor the ancient texts, appreciate the modern clarity, write the personal journal, and fill the blank pages. The awareness that understands that each book serves a different moment in the journey of awakening. So where does this leave you? Perhaps you saw yourself in the book you chose. Perhaps you recognized your own hunger, your own strategy, your own way of approaching what is knowable. Perhaps you realized that the way you have been seeking wisdom is not the only way, not even necessarily the best way, just the familiar way. This is valuable. All self-awareness is valuable. But do not make the book you chose into a permanent identity. Do not say, I am an ancient text person, or I am a blank page person, and then defend that position for the rest of your life. Because the truth is, you need all 4 books, at different times, for different reasons. In different seasons of your becoming, sometimes you need to go back to the ancient texts and remember what humans have always known. Sometimes you need the clean modern book to cut through your confusion with clarity. Sometimes you need to write in your own journal and trust your own experience. Sometimes you need to sit with a blank page and create something entirely new. The book you chose revealed your current approach to wisdom, your current hunger, your current stage in the journey of understanding. But that stage is not permanent, will not be permanent, should not be permanent. You are allowed to honor the ancient and write the new, to seek clarity and embrace mystery, to learn from others and trust yourself, to read what has been written and write what has never been spoken. The book revealed your pattern. Now you get to choose. Do you want to keep seeking wisdom this way, or are you ready to pick up a different book? Alan Watts once said, "The menu is not the meal." Today you looked at 4 books and chose one, but the choosing was not the point. The point was to realize that you have been seeking wisdom in a particular way, that you have been holding a particular relationship with truth, and that awareness alone gives you the freedom to seek differently. The book revealed your current strategy for learning, but it did not reveal what you actually know, because knowing is not found in books. It is found in the space between the words, in the silence after you close the cover, in the moment when you finally stop reading about how to live and start actually living. So carry this knowing lightly, hold your insights gently, and remember, all books eventually close. All wisdom eventually points beyond itself. All learning eventually dissolves into direct experience. And youth, the one who reads, the one who learns, the one who seeks you, are the only text that matters, the only wisdom that is real, the only truth that can be lived. If something in this reflection resonated with you, if you saw yourself in the book you chose, we invite you to share it in the comments below. Not to defend your choice, not to prove you chose correctly, but simply to acknowledge, I saw my pattern. I recognized how I seek wisdom, and now I am aware that I can seek differently. Because awareness is the beginning of transformation. And by sharing your awareness, you create space for others to see their own patterns clearly. There are more reflections like this waiting for you. More mirrors, more invitations to see how you have been learning, so you can choose how you want to learn next. Stay, not because you need another test, but because something in you recognizes that this is not about finding the right answers. It is about asking better questions. And until we meet again, remember this. You are not the book you read. You are the awareness that makes all reading possible. The consciousness that existed before the first word was written, and will remain long after the last book has closed. See you in the next reflection.